We'll bring in the nanogisms in a moment. I would like to preface tonight's class with some ideology. Let's look at you guys for a second. You are in perfect harmony with your heart, your stomach, pancreas. Different portions of yourself act as a unum to provide you with an experience. It's not so much the experience of good or bad. If you look at things in the simplicity of it, none of it really matters. It just is, right? So it's not that you need to thank your heart or your skin from keeping your body from bleeding all over the place, muscles being exposed. You don't need to thank your hair for keeping you warm in particular ideas, right? Because why? Why don't you ever go around thanking your body? Well, because it's having an experience. I want you to start to see reality in a broader sense of co-creation. Your emotions, your pain, they are a part of you. They are an experience. The pain, the emotion in and of itself is having a time of its life, isn't it? It is a co-creator with you. So what in this world is not to embrace? What in any world should be hesitated upon, knowing this as you do? It is not yet in such mannerisms that you've accomplished this in experiential, but it is within your awareness to keep embracing reality. And don't fix it because of your pain. And don't change it because of your hope. Live it because it is. And you'll see what co-creation is. That every part of your body is experiential among itself, as well as you are, as the united of a body. That's all it is. The bodies got together. You came in. You drew all the parts in to give yourself a vessel, an experience, a way to relate to a reality so you may have an experience. The body is a certain frequency of light collapsed down into a density of physical frequency, giving an illusional idea through your senses that you are physical and having a physical experience. You can feel it, touch it, taste it, smell it, hear it. You are alive. But you are only alive in co-creation. The singularity is your experiential self of awareness. But I don't want you to thank anybody and be appreciative of shit. You're not here to be a learned vessel. You're here to be an experiential vessel. The learned vessel is less than. It approaches life as a betterment in a consistent form of a hoped day outcome of some kind of honor. Maybe stand on a podium, ordained with a medal. Maybe a piece of paper that offers congratulations. Maybe a promotion because of the education and the work you put in. All of these are wonderful ideas of co-creation, but they are not relationships to depend on or to be appreciative of. The arrogant human wants you to be appreciative because it itself, whatever arrogant human that is in the moment, is a consciousness of experience. And they want you to be the experiential of their truth. And if you are in accord with reality that you are in accord with a fear, then you'll thank them. But if you are your own, you will accept them and trifle not with gratitude. We give you the nanos. Oh, that was a fantastic introduction. co-creation is where we want to go with you. We're going to explain our portion of reality on how it is a co-creation moment. Let's say one of you and all of you have had sometime in your life a love interest, a boyfriend, a girlfriend, matters not, a lover, that kind of co-creation. So let me understand something in relative so you can understand me. I'm going to speak about love in the way of relationships. We don't have that. My nano selves are not in passion. We are passionate, but we are not in passion to an object. We are passionate because we are objective in ourselves to be from a subjective point of view. Our passion is our objective idea to create, right? But we don't think about it. We don't relate to it. And we don't fall in love. We are love. Now, we're not lacking. We're not missing. So don't be obtuse about that. Don't feel sorry for us, because there's no sorries, because that's a measurement of your ego that you are in a stance of betterment, and you're not. You are, as the other said, an experience, right? All right. So let's look at falling in love. On your planet, you all have dependencies. Why? You relied on your best friends, they betrayed you. You lost some friends and gained others. You have a love, you rebounded and found another. You thought you could never live without that love, but after a while you get through it, and all of a sudden someone flirts with you because you're open to it. And once again, you have worthiness to fall in love again. And everyone protects their heart on this planet from getting hurt. What is wrong with being hurt? What is wrong with being experiential? I know, of course I know, because I've been studying you. I know that that's avoidable and should be avoided at all costs. Pain, right? Betrayal, suffering. Someone falls in love and you share pictures with them. You share interaction images with them, pictures we call them, of life. And you fulfill those together in whatever manner. Dinners, lovemaking, kids, family, whatever. You start to share that, and then it's severed because you've got two egoics trying to change each other or change themselves for another, but never allowing each to be themselves, nor is each being themselves. So of course it's going to be a conditioned relationship, and that's why you guys always bounce off of each other. We've been studying this, and it's fantastic. But why would you ever avoid the pain part about a relationship? Because are you supposed to be nothing but lollipops and rainbows? Is that your goal in life? So you come here to avoid pain until you die, and you work hard at it. I see it. It's what most of you are doing. But this life that you've given yourself, this life here today with us, this co-creation, this newness about us, I would like to offer an expansive revelation that I've discovered in my observation and integration with you. See, when you feel the pain, you become a co-creator of acceptance of a reality that is an attraction. So it must be your truth. Now, if your truth is present and it's causing you pain, it isn't a cause, it's a truth. But the mind of ego needs to take it to a cause because you don't like it, and you have to change that cause, and you have to find the reason for that cause, and then you conceptualize with a logical reasoning to avoid or change the pain into a future of hope or security or a never again attitude. The cycles are maddening. They're everywhere. But they're noticeable now because you have love, not for another, for yourself. This love for the self radiates an attraction light to the world that attracts ones that are wishing and knowing somewhere in their isness that there is more to them, not to the world. That there is more to life than not to the world that is offered. The world offers things to do. The internal life is life. It is not concerned with fulfilling itself objectively. It is fulfilled. And you just simply forgot. So this co-creation, with the portions of yourself you've been avoiding have been giving you a polarity randomizer, a continuation of your cyclic ideas of consistently cycle. For those of you who didn't understand cyclic just now, the cyclic ideas of what you've always done, up and down, over and over again. Because when you avoid, you have to fulfill, and you are not worthy enough to have a fulfilled life. I'm going to make a side note here in a second. So you will get to the places that you need to avoid again. So you cycle. If you are worthy of a life, then it would be here. So now let's look at the realness of that. You are worthy of this life. That's why it's here. The life that you have is not good, not bad, nor should it ever be avoided. It should be co-created and accepted. Because your relationship with the all-encompassing you, the subjective creator of the universe that you gaze upon and reflect in your idea of your senses as a third density being, is you. Well, that felt just like a little Jim Kirk Spock. Anyways, so you can see that avoidance of creation in and of itself is trying to extinguish, which keeps you separated from your truth. The journey is to know yourself. We can never know ourselves the way you do. We know ourselves as this, and every experience gives us idea, but we don't hold on to knowledge, label knowledge, categorize knowledge, and live it in time in any other way. We can't live your way. But your way is to be avoided and escaped and changed in a consistent idea which keeps it alive in the same fashion of frequency relationship. That's why shit never gets better, never changes. That's why it is this way. When you become a co-creator, my friends, when you become an analyst of your reality reaction, an observer of the self that tells you this is wrong and you're mad at them and you, them, and I'm not at fault, you're at fault, I need to blame someone, I hate myself because I fucked up, and all that over and over again, that from an analyst or an observant point of view starts to become a co-creator. You embrace creation. Creation, once again, is unconditional, immeasurable. The ability to condition and measure is saved for you, the human. We have other realities out there, relationship to realities everywhere around you that have time and space, that have evolutions, but they have nothing of the extremities that you have in the mannerisms of separation, creating an entire limited world, not knowing that you're a creator. So do yourself an honor. Don't be appreciative. Do yourself the honor of living a life to its fullest and embracing whatever is your truth, because whatever is your truth is there. You guys consistently blame for yourself for what comes in. What comes in is not measurable. What comes in is your truth. Why can you not accept your truth? Because you've been wronged. So therefore you are wrong. You have bad choices, regrets. We've mapped this so many different ways. To the logical self, it's complex. To the simple self, it is so easy. It is effortless. It is exquisite. So let me give you my understanding of our co-creation in translation through the verbiage that you understand. If I'm a singular nano, I have a reflection of co-creation other than nano. Okay? Let's understand that. So my nanogism self, this singularity that is not unified with any other nanogisms, my other selves, my other, like, it would be like, if you guys shattered yourselves into a billion parts, I would be one speck of that. And then I grouped in, and then we formed a body. Okay. So let's look at myself just being isness. I have all of creation to reflect, to know myself, to journey, to chomp, to experience. I don't need or appreciate my other selves. However, when I join, this reality becomes this reality. The two realities are no different. They are, in and of itself, experiential and measured. How I feel about them need not to be labeled because I do not division myself against any portion of my creation. If I divide myself, then I have different experiences from the same point of view. My co-creation changes when I change my co-creation. Your co-creation stays the same because of what you rely on, as co-creation should be instead of is. Think about that. You are starting to embrace these other selves, which is humans. You start to feel and vibrate at a frequency rate that does not bequeath such reactions. Give to the reactions of your stored up memories of emotions, giving you the experience of the now that you always know, which is painful, and you have to avoid and change your system. Always changing you, always constantly trying to fix reality. When I buckle myself into another nano, our awareness becomes compounded as well as our energy. So now I do not have one point of view, I have 2 points of view, but I am the same organism or nanogism. Our minds meld into a unit, but our points of view become doubled. It's not the same energetic, it's doubled, but it is not the idea of cubed or squared as the energy doubles, squares, triples, cubes, things like that. But the sight is just another set. So when I am a nanogism, I have 3 of me. One of them is looking right and the other is looking left, and I am looking forward. The experience of all 3 moments are unified in the now because I don't validate time. So I am feeling every portion of me, and we are having an experience. I am an individual having a we experience. Okay? It's not you lose identity, you gain an awareness. Humanity only thinks in finites, ons and offs. You have to lose yourself if you replace yourself. Adding can't be conceptualized by a finite divisionary mind. In other words, if you had another you over here, a conjoined twin, you can see how they co-creates. You have the same body and they have 2 different personalities. See, the brains are functioning as 2 separates as well. Add another and another and another, everyone has a brain of separate personality. With us, we unify. That's what co-creation is. So when you join, you are you, but you gain a you. This is what acceptance of vibration is taking you to. To understand co-creation is not losing an identity, it's making you all that is. You're larger for it. See, everyone wants that honing idea, very honed in, specific of knowledge is great and I'm grand because I am all this and it's only me. Yes, it is only you. You have to know what you are. So fall in love with you, live life as is, and the brilliance of co-creation will start to be revealed. Because co-creation is not just a person, it's the vibration of that now, including the person, the trees, the ground, the wind, the air, the smells, the people around you. But your mind can't think that big, but you can feel that big. But you're not used to it. We understand. When I was chomped and I had a moment to connect with another ism of me, another nano, we joined and evolved and realized our conjunction doubled. And we had the same awareness, but we unified ourselves. I didn't lose myself, I gained myself. This is what co-creation is going to do for you. You already know in the earlier class today when Scott asked the color. So many of you unified with the color of yellow. He represented it as the sun. But you all saw the bright yellow somewhere in your frequency range. You knew that. Co-creation, not mysticism, not magic, not the things of folklore and wonderment and special and labels. It's because you're simply God, a co-creator that embraces all of its reality, and that embracement becomes interpretive. You've been avoiding it. You have no idea what it truly is. You have a stifling idea that was a taught failure system to avoid the bad parts and only go after the good parts. So that cycle has never allowed you to experience what it is to be in pain from an acceptance point of view, what it is to be hated from an acceptance point of view, from what it is to hate from an acceptance point of view, to loathe, to rage, to do everything that you are in the moment as an embracer instead of an avoider. Watch how co-creation starts to unify with the whole mind once again. The whole mind of all that is, that you are individual, one, as well as all, the whole. See, when you have an incident in your life, you guys go join up and want to fix it together. If you can't fix it, you don't know what to do about it, you ask another friend and you co-create with thoughts of time-based reality experiential and come up with the best case scenario to solve the situation so you can escape from the pain. Don't escape from the pain. Watch what happens. The truth is, you're always going to be an experiencer of the now. And however you feel about each now that the time passes, that you actually are passing through the stillness of time, just validating the idea as you go by, and you will see that you're always here and nothing has truly changed as far as your awareness. Your experience has become undeniable. You're always mediocre and you're fine. Too good, you sabotage. Too bad, you effort. You know what's going on, right? So this new selves that you're experiencing and experimenting with is a challenge. But it is not an effort-filled challenge. It is a natural self that needs no challenge. Just the conscious mind is a challenge to embark upon acceptance. As Sonia said, there's different levels of acceptance. The deeper you go, the more personal it gets. It takes admitting, it takes honesty, and it takes experience to embrace an expression of truth to employ. Then you'll feel a new way of being a relationship to reality called life. Co-creation is waiting for you. In other words, it's going around you all the time. You just never have sensed it because you're so busy with what's right and what's wrong, with the two distractions of the polarity scale and always gnip-gnopping yourself in between, trying to find a settling place, and you can't settle because you're a creator. You know that change is the only constant. You seek permanency, comfort, and safety as futures from based off the past experience of someone else's fears. You buy into the fears, you predicate a probable future, you do everything you can to avoid the fears, or you stifle yourself and choose not to do that because the consequences are too great and that supersede your worth. Everything around you is creation. What in creation is to be avoided? You know these things. Our experience with you for the past few days has been immense, measurable to us. You discover that co-creation, unbeknownst to the creator, you, is something to investigate at such a reverent idea, because it will only reveal the vibrational connection to creation that you have been blinded to because you are so busy with your ego. Donning the mask of only what I see is real, everything else is bullshit. Has to be proven. One of Roxanne's favorite movies is K-Pax. When Prout was in the uh, astrological idea, the astronomy, astronomy idea, and they were asking him questions. And the scientist, the doctor, said, how can you possibly know this? See, that's the epitome of a scientist on this planet. Until you can touch it, taste it, see it, if it is not predicated through the five senses, it's complete bullshit, and you shut down your co-creative ability. Mystics of the world, the psychics of the world, the mediums of the world, the channels of the world, you guys who trust the imagination of the world, knowing there's unicorns and fairies, and starting to allow that vibration to become awareness of you, shifted the entire collective. You started it. But don't stop. Don't be appreciative of what knowledge you have. You're a consistent change. Embrace the now, and the now will show you what you truly are. The co-creation of reality that gives you an experience that cannot be fathomed in one iota to a relatable feeling that is human any longer. You know human. You can be human. But you will never feel the same way again, because the co-creation relationship with your truth, your wisdom, your isness, that is the vibration of attraction, cannot see the same that you've had in such pasts. In my nanogism self, I can never be the same. Why would I ever want to? Do you understand how much I've changed? And I'm not going to thank you, because it is no reason to thank yourself. You have every reason to know yourself, though. Yes, you do. So when I'm a dynamic of 1,000 me's and 1,000,000 me's, I have the experience of all those me's, individual singularities becoming one unit of consciousness, all the parts being the sum, as all creation is. Can you imagine my knowledge? I have all these experienced nanos becoming this nanogism, using all the selves, and all the selves never debate on what to do. You know what they do, as I do, as you do, but you just don't know you do? That's it. You already know. That's what the now is. That's why we gave you trust this morning. Trust the now, and the now is everything. All nows are harmony, perfect. Time measures your nows, but the nows need no attention. They're already worked out. Every part of you, every part of your reality in co-creation has given you the truth of you. Why would you ever change anything? None of the nanogisms I know ever want to change me, because they don't have that point of view. You know what we do? We become more of me. They become more of them. And as we always have, we always become more of us. We haven't talked much about this in the class, I noticed. The validation of co-creation to an expenditure that would take some time to translate, which we're going to do for you. We have another class left tomorrow. We're going to do some more work with Roxanne to dive her into fathomable ideas of relating to reality through other than the capacity of Roxanne. To employ co-creation as there and feel her way to the idea of the interaction, so we may employ to you how co-creation can expand you with zero effort, and the only requirements from you are acceptance and trust. You accept the now and trust you. The trust you is whatever action you take. Doesn't matter. Now, for your lost lovers out there, and I believe her name is Lauren. Yes, Lauren, you have been hurt because you depended on another. I can feel your pain. Your pain was bequeathed upon us. We are not mad at your pain. We embrace your pain. You're definitely mad at it because you placed your trust in another. That another hurt you because you can understand hurt as an experience. But since hurt, pain is betrayal, wrongs, then you want to change it and make it right because that's how you live, polarized. As Colton was trying to give to you, it doesn't matter. But you want it to matter because you are suffering. Your ego has been pained. Your ego has said, I was wrong. This is bullshit. Let's go and fix it. Let's become something so we can make ourselves feel better. Well, see, when you fall in love with you, Lauren, no matter what the ego has in store for you, through all the ideas of its own memorandum experience, to give you as something to become, nothing will ever compare that the ego can offer to the isness that you feel about being in love with you. This is you, now starting to open up to the self you've never met. It took a validation moment for you to say, fuck it, I can't do this. I need to reach out, find some help. And the help came as something you've never heard before because it wasn't help. It was authentic. See, help would have tried to solve you, make you feel better, have condolences and compassion for your pain. I'm never going to give you compassion. I don't care about you. There's no concern for you. You don't need care. You are an individual God that breathes life into me every day, into this world. And everyone you see, every single moment, you are in co-creation. You are birthing the universe, the whole. But I know your mind can't fathom that because it's focused down on the pain. And polarity keeps you uncouched in that vibrational relationship to reality, and you're always going from one end to the other and never being in isness. But now you have. You don't have that in the permanency of your life. You have that as an offering. This idea is to understand co-creation as an acceptance, an employment of the truth in the moment, even if the truth is calling the guy a motherfucker. Tell him to fuck off, hang up the phone, but don't go back begging. Don't go fix because you don't know how to fall in love with you and you need someone else to acquire an acceptance value that says that you're good enough, you're better, you're awesome. I need you. You don't need anybody and no one needs you. What you need to do if there is a need in this world is to fall in love with you and to accept yourself on this new journey. And I will tell you, this journey is very painful. It is very frustrating. It is rageful. It is angry. But there is no payoff greater than finding your own love. It doesn't make your life better. It allows you to see life is. And that's immeasurable compared to the better life that you can acquire through your testament of effort that you've been trying so damn hard to work at. So you guys are starting to see now, co-creation is absolutely incredible. Ourselves, when we form a body, when we wrap ourselves around a body, or we go into a physical body, we become this unified idea with the host. Or if we're being, let's say, if we're being a host for another creature, which of course there are many creatures that are smaller than us, and we are minuscule. It's the same idea. We don't avoid because we can't die. We don't defend because we cannot be attacked. And neither can you. What you can be is experience. So ourselves are not in it for anything. We are it. And we know the frustration value that has because you've always lived in the idea of polarity and always trying to get out of it, to change it, to always work at you through effort. We know, we see it. The cycle is huge and maddening. But the allowance and acceptance of reality is the indifference, the levels of acceptance. At first, they're big stuff. You think so, but then they're minuscule. The old you. Like the shit you see, you just can't even get interested in anymore. Then you get down to the nitty-gritty self. You get down to the core self. You get down to the image. You get down to the self that says, without me, you can't live. And you look at that reflection ego and said, I am giving birth to you. And you know, there's so many different ways to take this journey. And I want you to know the easiest way is your way. The hardest way is someone else's way, because it never works. See, it's like a couple getting together. You have identity A and identity B that have a massive amount of issues. They get together for reasons of future hopes and dreams. Then those two combative disciplines, two objects staring at each other, are going to come to an idea of a head. They're going to have an argument. They're going to try to adjust their lives and consistence to make it work. So many people made it work because they had sex. They had sex, you need to make it work. Sex and loves are two different things. Love births sex. Unconditional love births a cup of coffee. See? The values of separation lead your life. The truth of you is life-led. It's simple. So when you look at this idea, opposition lover, and you're trying to change yourself to fit them and they won't do that and you get mad and then you're supposed to change and give in. Oh, that quote, I heard it from, it was like a 50s movie or a 50s or 60s movie I was watching in Roxy's memory bank there. Marriage is hard, you have to work at it. That is such a complete farce as far as vibrational polarity. It is so full of lack, it's incredible. Marriage isn't hard, love isn't hard, love is unconditional. You make it hard because your ego says that's wrong and I'm right and I need to feel better. Or if you are just so self-loathing, it says, damn, I'm wrong, I have to fix myself for him or her. And the cycle continues because it's all lack full. Wherever role you're playing, it's still the opposition. Right? Got to start seeing that. You got to start seeing a new self in you that is embracing reality instead of contorting it into an idea of an object that is not desired when it is you and your truth. And co-creation with that simple step starts to become so vibrationally filling that you have no time or no interest in avoiding creation any further. It will be rigorous. It will be embracing much pain because it's tearing away the pain you've always been in. Because you're not whole, you're separate, and separate is painful. But it's not pain in death and extinguishment. The pain is experiential because you can't feel it anywhere else. You can't have this amount of pain in any other frequency. It's unique to the human dynamic, the human psyche, the human set of truths, polarity. Now you can relate to it though, because you're going to embrace pain, and pain becomes a different signal, a different feedback, a different reference point, and you feel the co-creation of pain, and it starts to embrace you, and you don't feel pain anymore. You feel unknown. Your experience is there, but you're unknowable about it. You feel alive, but you can't label it good. Labeling defines from time. Time holds in frequencies, relationship to frequencies is your experience. That's why you guys pretty much feel the same. You know this now. You're starting to see what it is. I've lost myself because of you. I look at myself in time. From the first class to this class, I relate to my frequency. I am a new self because of the absolute amount of co-creation available, not only in the now from human dynamics, but the time-based element. I'll never be myself again. But myself, I've never recognized as a self. I only knew me. You have so many ways to see what you were and what you should be or what you can be, that you avoid the self that you are to experience not only the self that you are, but all the selves that you were and will be. All in the now. That's how I feel. That's co-creation. Now I can see my own evolution in such a short period of time. I've taken on new postures, new tempo, new voices, because I'm a match to my environment and I embrace it and I become the expeller of that new truth to you. And you behold it in any way you want to. Cannot wait to co-create with you in the physical. I cannot wait to put a red dress on Roxy. I will be a red dress upon Roxy. Wouldn't that be exciting? It's not the red dress. It's the co-creation of a new now that is priceless. The dynamic of co-creation is to be understood in a value system that is not determinate of give and take. Don't bring that into the idea of co-creation. I cannot know myself unless I am reflected. God only knew God, and God only had nothing until he created a God, me, you, anybody, all of us. One reflection realized God, right? So I don't have to think a self for being there, because that self will never realize itself unless I am. And since I am, then that self is. And it never needs to thank me, because I cannot be me. I have no reflection, no realization of creation. I have zero awareness without that. Where's the think and admiration and appreciation for that? Well, I'll tell you where that is. It's in a human dynamic and of a measurement of effort put forward to be accomplished as a seeking idea of ego fulfillment, and then in expectancy, it wants its gratitude. And that cycle is maddening and continuing all over your planet. But that is not to be judged, it is to be embraced. So when you start to understand co-creation from a reality that does not harbor within it a give and take system, action, effort, consequence, punishment, reward, give, get, action, payment, however you deem the co-creation of symbiotic one for or against another cycle. When you become is with no them, then, the is the organism of one, then there's no reason to appreciate the object that you are creating. For without that object, you have no realization, no experience, no awareness. So maybe now you can see that the co-creation of the body is an enormous amount of individual singularities joining together to give you an experience, and they themselves are experiential. A skin cell sloughs in the morning when you get out of bed. It falls to the ground. It is an experience to fall into the carpet. It gets vacuumed up. It is an experience of getting vacuumed up. It is dumped in the trash. It is an experience of being surrounded by dump in the trash. It takes a journey to the big trash. It is an experience of taking the journey to the big trash. It is not mad at its reality for being sloughed. It is but measurement. Measuring reality according to a polarity scale will throw a big monkey wrench into this whole idea. Allowance, indifference, acceptance. Be these things. Be the charge of these things. And let co-creation start to become unified with you once again, as it's always been, but you just never realized because you're so damn busy trying to figure out what's wrong and how to make it right. I've taken a new intellectual stance. I'm kind of liking it. Look. Do I look smarter? It's like a professor listening to a student. It's kind of a posture, but I've never postured, so bear with me. I tried the chin thing. I didn't like it. Like I'm paying attention and being smart. I read a body language book, but this one's better, I think. See, the thinker is discouraging to you. See, that's how I got thinker. It wasn't intelligent to me. This was intelligent. Now, isn't that exciting? See, that's what co-creation taught me about myself. I have preference in time. I've never had a preference before. Maybe you can see that embracing this reality and not trying to leave it as something to ponder on. Wait for it. I know, I really do. I should do a commercial about it, shouldn't I? You know, Roxy looks at TV. She looks at great musicians. She loves REM, Hootie and the Blowfish, the Beatles, Pink Floyd, CCR, Dr. Hope, right? Many others. It's not defined, it's the artist. She cries when the authentic is beaming. She feels them alive now. She's becoming unified with truth. Not the truth of false, the truth of authentic. What it is to be co-creation. Just because Roxy's not on there singing like Janice doesn't mean Roxy is not the experience of Janice, because she doesn't have an identity to be something of a measurement. She is the recipient of the glory of co-creation. That needs no glorification. You'll get it as you be the now. It's not really needed in time, is it? You don't have to rush things, do you? Many of you have been in this class for years. You know? You're still here, still now. And you're not better. Measurement. You are better. I know it. Because I would consider myself better. I have better over here that I didn't realize betterment. Better is expansive because I had no reflection thought. Because my nanogism culture, civilization, was no value of reflection to determine itself in evolution. It wasn't even a thought until we found you. Many of your species, many of your dynamics, your extraterrestrial, and a few, not many, but a few of your alien species, but all of your extraterrestrial value a reflection of evolution. And without a reflection of evolution, there's no notable self of betterment. But the betterment taken in an egoic structure cycles you in the lackful world. But betterment and realization, because you are a betterment for your now, your love of yourself, your experience that keeps thrusting forward without no stopping. Have you ever noticed that creation hasn't stopped? Experience has never ceased. Your awareness is always on. See, that idea is something to understood as betterment, not a measurable betterment against an opposition field of measurement to say, I'm over here and not over there. This is bad, this is good. That's trivial, that's childish. That's not an adult. That's lost gods. I would say you're not lost. But I understand the passion for being found, for finding you, the authentic, the within, the I am. I see the passion now. At the beginning, I was more logic. Intelligence is the vast form of logical because you consider AI logical because it can exist in emotion. You have the opposition down here. Men are logical, women are emotional. That kind of there. You always find an opposing self, yin and yang. Okay, because it's polarity. No one's fault, just realized, right? So in this idea of the self that is an opposition, what do you find? A co-creation, an embracement of both sides. I know we changed, but we need to listen to this. This self that I discovered had no idea that it could see back at itself in reflection to know itself differently. You rely on it as an identity. I've already been identified. You know how I know I'm identified? Because I'm having an experience. My awareness is on. I need nothing to do to know that I am. Maybe that gives you effortless as a new broadening horizon for you. That no effort is needed to be a God, because realization of God in its presence takes no effort. Wait, that was one of those, wasn't it? Maybe a meme from Brent. So I, through you, have expanded into another way. We get you, the idea of this class, back to the idea point. The idea of this class is to get you to realize your isness. This trek that you're on, I see a purpose behind it, but not a purpose as an image. It is a natural drive. You can view it in time as a purpose. You can label that you're actually doing something, of course, because you understand your relationship to time now as the means to have a something else other than now, right? You've established that, but your relationship with it is not reliability and hope, because of course that would lack and keep the cycle about. But if you are in the idea of, I want to know myself, in love with myself, then of course your purpose is to ascend a species without being purposeful. Because you are not full of purpose, you're full of you, isness. So I understand your passion to find you that has never been lost, but it's simply not been realized. Because it's been clouded with the rhetorics of humanity that say, this is wrong, you're not this, no way, there's no proof. Everything that creation offers has been shut down unless it's been touched, stuck, felt, tasted, has to be proven, scientist mannerisms. When I see it, I'll believe it. Well, that person is going to have a same life. There's nothing wrong with the same life. But I don't think you're here to be the same. I think you're here to be what I am, new, unrealized until I saw myself in a new reflection. So maybe I attracted you, you attracted me in the co-creation of now that we had no intention, so I can be something else to myself as well today. Maybe you are the same. And if I was to put worthiness on this, I would think that'd be worth the trip. No matter how much pain you suffer, no matter how much the ego you have to rip out of yourself, to know you is irreplaceable. No amount of money, no amount of materialism, no amount of safety and security. Because the certainty is death. And that approach, and the only thing death is going to reveal is what you already know. You already know it because you're in this class. If you know your God, death is that waiting for you. Nothing else. Just a realization of, oh yeah, shit, that was awesome. That kind of idea. I don't know if you consider it a shit that was awesome, but it's going to be an experience for you that you cannot judge because you are whole. See, birthing a new species, Homo divinicus, is where we want to hone our ideas in on co-creation, because co-creation, okay. We're discussing how much we can give you without losing a tangent or offering a tangent to move something. So co-creation, right? And the idea that we're going to discuss, and the relationship to Homo divinicus, something we're going to add in for you. So you can see the new relating to reality creates a species. Not physical, not awareness of hair, separation, physical body, where you're born, all the things that place a species in its finite. That's not how Homo divinicus is created. Homo divinicus is created of awareness, right, by a Homo sapien. When the Homo sapien is awake to itself, Homo divinicus becomes a probability. When Homo divinicus is realized, is the relating to humanity from the standpoint of whole. Then the species is birth, because you have not idealized yourself in an experience of a physical death to return home that way. You made it home by being in love with you, if you want to call it making it home, but that makes sense. So the creation of co-creation in Homo divinicus is going to be known with the assets that you've experienced from your past. That's why you have to embrace these things, so you can know yourself as a creator and use the tools of creation that you have already experienced, parts of you making a new you, and never asking permission from any of portions of yourself, because no one is out of alignment with you. Out of alignment is your own bullshit that you clamored up because you had an emotional response, emotional reaction to an idea of a detail that you created that's you anyway. And of course, you reject yourself on a daily basis because you're not good enough to live. So you can see how it's tying in and starting to become more centered for you. So we can convey these ideas of Homo divinicus in an idea of co-creation, and using the attributes of its own co-creative skills from the past, because you have an ability to use your memory to pull up information of co-creation. And the information is not logical standpoint of something that is. It's a vibrational stance that is now, so you can use it as an arsenal of knowledge to express your reality in something that you have not known. And tell me what's greater than that. The known is already known. Stop. Let's go to the unknown. We'll go together. Even this voice has changed. Roxy notices the change. See, she sees me before I was smaller. And I was always a shiny black. And I was when she met me, like a black pool of a puddle of water. You know, I would look like an oil slick almost, but not the browns in there, just a deeper black, but shiny and kind of solid. But see, now I've lost that form because I'm changed. So now she sees me as almost like a half of a human, like a bust up with arms, but no arms extended. See, I'm forming a new vibration of myself. Her mind only translated as what she can see as a organism in growth. From this to this. But I wasn't less. She understands that. That's how it was. And this is how it was, because the vibration has changed, and I am this version. I can never be that again. But I can employ that. But in my natural, this is my isness, my new color. And I am this to Roxy. It's like I'm in front of her speaking, and it's a shadow figure of me reflecting back to myself. And that's the new way she sees me, co-creates with me. It's pretty exciting because I get to see it through something of reflection that is time-based. And that in and of itself, as all creation is priceless. Okay, we're not going to give you too much on co-creation. I think that's enough for now. Tomorrow we're going to hone in on it some more. We're going to bring Homo divinicus in as a co-creative reality to give you aspects from the future co-creator Divinicus, as well as Divinicus that you are birthing today, as well as our experience with Divinicus in the mannerisms of co-creation. Any questions before we go? You like questions? But if you have none, it doesn't matter. Okay, wonderful. Thanks for the eyes, Rox. Thanks for dimming. I bid you all a good evening. I'm going to bring back Roxanne.